My 11th Circle presents Cricbuzz Live in association with the Weather Channel. It's 3-0 for India, though there was just a little phase when it looked like it might get a little tricky. And then we saw batsmanship of the very highest class from Virat Kohli. The ball was slowing a little bit. He started to get a move on early. And then Rishabh Pant. How often on this program do we talk about Rishabh Pant? And today was a reason why I thought we saw the best of the young man. Joy Bhattacharjya is alongside me. So is Zaheer Khan. He took your breath away with some of those shots. It was a slow deck, and still he was able to get the power behind those shots.
That just shows that, when he's not going to score runs, we're going to talk about him.
When he scores runs, we're still going to talk about
We're going to talk about it. Yeah. And that's the kind of talent he is, because he's a very naturally aggressive batsman, and when he's scoring runs, he's a match winner. So that's something, which is always going to be the case, and that's why the whole talk around him. I understand it's still early days of any player, and so much have been talked about him. Shows that everyone believes in his talent. It's just that he has to figure out a way of putting up these performances consistently, and which he will, because how many matches he has played at this level, hardly any games, but has shown enough glimpses of what he can do. He has played some really good innings in test matches as well. Those hundreds which he has scored in overseas conditions were also a testimony to the fact that he can play those kind of knocks, and he's a match winner. It's just good for Indian team that if he's consistently figuring out his game and coming up with these kind of performances, I think he's the player to watch for future.
Only 18 T20 internationals for Rishabh Pant. I just like the fact he knew it was a slow deck. The 2 sixes he hit over cover were almost flat. They went like that. Then he finds room to play shots that you think, but the ball wasn't supposed to go there.
Exactly. He's audacious. And, in the last 2 matches, you saw half pants. Today, you saw a full pant. That's literally what you saw. But no.
You did not say that.
Anyway. But look, just the audaciousness of the man. I mean, when he hit that ball over cover, for a split second, I think they showed Brathwaite's face, and he hits a 6 over cover like that. It's a kind of shot that you're not supposed to hit. And that's the mark of a very different player, a player who can hit on this kind of surface where the ball's not quite coming on, to be able to time that ball and hit it like that. He is something else. He is something else, and we've got to accept that. He's going to confound us. He's going to infuriate us at times, because he's going to do something really stupid, and you look and say, why has he done that? But there's no way that you can ignore him.
Interesting to see Virat Kohli bat as well. Started a little slowly, but I think he figured out the track very early, didn't he? He realized it had got to 70 of 8 overs or something. He realized you can't keep knocking 1s and 2s around, and he started to take a chance early.
Look, we did speak about what kind of approach Indian batsmen will have, and that shot which KL Rahul played of
the very first over,
was also showing signs of what kind of talk they've had in the dressing room. They understood the fact that the wicket was not going to be easy to score runs freely. So you have to make use of the new ball. Till the time ball is hard, you put pressure on the bowlers, get them on back foot. And from West Indies bowling lineup, we've not seen that fight, and they kind of lose track. To win these kind of matches, you got to have the belief as a group and that want of winning matches. And I think it's just that when the pressure is coming onto them, they just kind of losing that belief and just going with the flow of the game, rather than someone standing up and saying that, okay, fine, I will change things around here. And you can only do that when you have that kind of belief, and you got to believe that, okay, just one good ball is going to get you wicket and things are going to change. You saw with Virat's dismissal also, even though it happened at the later stage, but that did changes the momentum of the game and how things are moving. So I think from West Indies side, what they need is to get that belief going. I think to show that fight, you could see from the faces also of West Indies players on the field after about that partnership, once that partnership was going, that they knew that, okay, it's just a matter of time. This Indian team is very strong. If you believe that, then you're never going to be able to turn things around, and that's something which they need to look into their dressing room and figure out.
It could have been tricky. The good thing is, Navdeep Saini was man of the match first game in a debut game. Second game, Krunal Pandya has played 12, 13 games for India. I don't know if it's Deepak Chahar, only his second game for India. If it is Rishabh Pant, only his 17th, 18th game for India.
No, I think there's a lot of talent coming through, young talent, and they're good doing it. The match, I think this was won or lost, was basically how India played their spinners. So in the 7 overs of spin, with Sunil Narayan bowling, on his favourite kind of track, they gave away 47 runs and took just 1 wicket.
Yes.
Once that was neutralised, and then of course they have Kimo Paul, who's a specialist 6th bowler and 8th batsman. And it's a difficult.
I agree. The spinners had to do well because 47 of 7, that's just under 7 an over, which is only marginally under par.
And if your spinners are not doing it on this track, I mean, there's only so much your fast bowlers can do. And, their 6th bowler has been a problem with them all the time. 11.5, 11.53. They've never come to the party. And as I said, Kimo Paul is a specialist number 8 batsman. It's a difficult position to bat.
Who'd you go man of the match? Chahar?
It was a tricky one because I did feel that the score was above par, and to win from there, someone had to really play a special innings, and which Rishabh Pant did, was nicely supported by Virat. But I think the power which we are talking about, that was going to be a deciding factor. Rishabh Pant did bring it to the table. So I think Rishabh Pant deserves to be man of the match, even though Deepak Chahar really set the tone of the match with that brilliant first spell. But I think, I'll just go by the wicket because I still felt that the West Indies bowlers didn't really make use of the kind of pitch they were playing on. Having been bowling second, you are better prepared to exploit the conditions, and Pant, I think, deserves to be man of the match because he put the pressure on.
We'll wait for the official announcement, but he's also on my 11th circle most valuable player in terms of points scored. 65 of 42 balls, strike rate 154. 4 brilliant sixes on a slow track. I also thought some of the boundaries, he laid back to play Sunil Narayan and he hit it beautifully just behind point on the offside. So that was fantastic. Now let's look at what the West Indies are doing here. Around the world, some of the most sought after T20 players are the West Indies. They're the only team to win the World T20 twice. It's been shared around a lot. And today they've become the team that has lost most T20 internationals.
No, obviously not having a revolving door on your international stars is a problem, and it's not a problem that the West Indies board has much choice about because they belong to different countries. They simply say, I'm not going to turn up, I want to make some.
I mean, of these 58, Joy, they've lost 58 games now. 36 have come after the World T20. That was won in such dramatic style in the 2016 World T20. In the last 3 years, they've lost 36. No wonder they're down to number 9 on the rankings. So there are 2 West Indies sides. There's a side that plays the World T20 where everybody comes and you say, wow. And there's another West Indies side where some people play in Canada and some people play at home. They can't understand this.
That has been the favorite topic of Joy today.
Just as I said, where? They're playing, oh, sorry, wrong flight. I'm in Canada, actually.
Now, I'll tell you what this does. If you're part of a winning team, then people like Hetmeyer, people like Pura and people like Lewis, they'll grow faster as well, won't they? Because they're winning, these teams are winning, they grow in confidence. If they're playing in a team that's losing, these young players who are tomorrow's players will also not grow as quickly.
I think what's missing with West Indies team is that they're not playing as a team. When you look at it, you look at the team and you look at the names in that squad and you look at their individual performances when they are representing franchises. They are right up there. So it's just not coming together. And someone needs to just figure that formula out rather than just going and talking to individuals. I think as a group, how they're going about believing in terms of winning matches, how they're going to operate it as a group is something which they need to look at and finer things like planning. Like I think today I felt that the wicket was something where you had to bowl fast into the wicket, slow ones. Which was missing. The length was missing. They were trying to do the right thing by bowling those slower ones. But I think in terms of the lengths which they were hitting was not the ideal length for this particular track. Now, how do you achieve correcting these kind of measures? By communicating. And I think that is something which you need a good channel of communication amongst that group. And slowly you'll see the results start to flow. And it's with team sports, I think you've seen it just takes a couple of games to start putting things together, and someone needs to identify that and have those kind of chats around this group, because on paper this team always looks good.
This team look good, all right, too. I mean, Robin Powell is capable of scoring runs. Hetmar can score runs.
I mean, they're a young, talented side. There's a lot of firepower in that team, even without the big guns like Gale and Russell. There is firepower, but exactly what you were saying, and I felt the heads dropped too early. I mean, even the 10th, 11th over, once those 21st, 20, 30 runs were made, and remember, you had two players who are brilliant timers of the ball, okay? If any of these had got out, 13, 14, 15th over, you'd got two of them, even if you'd got this man early, Rishabh Pant early, it may not have been that easy to hit. Rishabh hit some shots today that very few cricketers can hit.
Yeah, so India winning by 7 wickets after the West Indies made 146, India 150 for 3. That number that we told you about, 36, it's 24, but the point is still valid, that post the World T20, the West Indies are starting to lose many, many more matches, largely because they're not all playing together. And remember, some of the stars of that World T20, Darren Sammy, not wanted, Dwayne Bravo, not wanted. They're still going around and winning matches in franchise cricket, but the newer, younger guns not quite coming through. Now, we had a My 11, we've also got a My My 11 Circle Beat the Champion, Beat the Expert contest rather, they keep coming all the time. Beat the Expert, and that's Jai Prakash Barewar from Madhya Pradesh, 302 points. Well done, Jai Prakash. It's only a 20-20 over game, so there's not those many points available.
It's pretty good for a 20 over actually. 300 plus is very decent for 20 overs. 50 overs, I remember we used to get 550s, 560s. But for 20, it's a really good total.
Right, so we've come to the end of the T20 series. One day international series, what changes do you see? Shreyas Iyer coming in maybe, batting at number 4. You've also got the Wristies who come back to play the tournament. So maybe we'll see a little bit more of them. So there's a few changes.
Well, they have been...
What about Shikhar Dhawan? Are you okay with Shikhar Dhawan? Do you think it's just rustiness coming back after the World Cup, hasn't played a lot? Or is it something to worry about?
Also injury to the thumb as well, so that's the batting hand, and it can affect your rhythm to a certain degree. So yeah, nothing much around Shikhar Dhawan in terms of concern going forward. He's experienced enough player to figure his game out going forward. But yeah, someone like Shreyas Iyer, I think will get some opportunities going in ODIs. It will be good to see the wrist spin twin coming back.
Kedar Jadhav comes back and Mohammad Shami comes back.
Yes, and Mohammad Shami, I think, is another one to keep an eye on.
He bowled well at the
before the test matches coming along. Yeah,
he bowled so well at the World Cup. One of the things I didn't understand about the World Cup was why Shami didn't play more. So I see him coming back and playing over here as well.
Almost definitely, and it's good to give him a couple of games before the test matches start, just get him into
I wonder if they'll play just one of the wrist spinners. Jadeja's played so well in his last game, you can't suddenly say, thank you, we're not playing you. So Ravindra Jadeja plays, you play only one wrist spinner? I mean, there's no Hardik Pandya,
well,
so he'll probably play that.
If one wrist spinner is playing, then it has to be Chahal, because he's been having good run.
Yeah.
And if you go back to the last ODI which they played, Ravindra Jadeja had a great outing out there, and these kind of tracks in West Indies also suits his style of bowling. There is a slight bit of grip on the surface which he really thrives on. So I think Jadeja and Chahal is an ideal combination.
I won't be surprised if it's you play the top 3, then you play Shreyas Iyer at 4, Rishabh Pant 5, and because the ball's gripping a little bit, maybe Kedar Jadhav 6, Jadeja 7. There's no Hardik Pandya here. And there's no Krunal either, so maybe Kedar Jadhav 6, Jadeja 7.
With his bowling also coming into play.
Yeah.
Yes. And Hardik not being there, so
below sea level in Georgetown.
They'll need that extra bowling option for sure.
So I wonder if it'll be a shootout between Saini and Khalil then for that.
Yeah, it has to be, because almost certainly I think Shami is going to play.
And Bhuvi's around, so yeah.
Yeah, I think they need to play, and look, again they'll play their best side for the first match. They'll win a couple. Third side, they might, third match, they might look at, turning it around as they did. But given the way that they've been playing, I think that's what it is. The Indian team now is a well-oiled machine, and despite, that one semi-final loss, you have to say that they've reasonably done what they've had to do time after time. It's the West Indies that look a disorganized unit. Also more a unit that's not cohesive.
Yeah. I mean, West Indies play their best cricket in the T20 format, or that's the impression they give us. We've seen with the results that's not quite true. Now they've got a few changes as well with the one days coming. Change in captaincy. I mean, I've always wondered what Carlos Hetmeyer does, bowling an over or two here and there, batting at 7. He's still in the side, but Jason Holder comes back as captain. Roston Chase comes in, Kemar Roach comes in, and Shea Hope comes in. I think Shea Hope is crucial for them. He bats at 3, or whether he opens or he bats at 3. So is Nicholas Pooran the only keeper down there in that list? Is he going to keep? Shea Hope is, of course, of course, Shea Hope and Nicholas Pooran. So it'll be interesting to see. But Jason Holder back as captain, so they've got a few changes there. I think the longer the game, the better India's chances are. So I think India start favourites in the...
India start favourites. It'll be good for them to have Shea Hope back. He's been, for a long time, he's been the sort of anchor again, the Joe Root kind of player who plays out there. And he'll at least bring somewhat of stability to this side, because lots of young batsmen out there who haven't really...
So Hope will do that, and Holder will do that as well.
Hopefully, yeah, they're the two holders for them.
And Kemar Roach as well coming back in. I think he's been bowling well in the World Cup, and has been among the wickets. So yeah, I mean, this team is looking like again a really good team on paper. It's just about how they go on bringing up those performances on the field. I personally feel that Jason Holder has got a good feel of the game, and he has been good with his bowling changes and all that, but he'll have to play a really inspiring role to get this team going in terms of winning matches.
Yeah, they like Pooran and Hetmeyer. They don't like Pollard playing the 50-over game. And of course, big Chris Gayle comes back, so he'll have a huge impact. He'd announced his retirement, and then he just said at the World Cup, "Nah, I'm playing." I'm playing. So I remember Michael Holding saying, "Is Chris Gayle the new selector?"
I know.
Because he's decided he's going to play. Right? So he's decided he's going to play, he's playing. It just adds to the box office value as well. Now remember, when you join us for those one days, you can play the game as well. You can join us on My 11 Circle. You can, as usual, go to the website, my11circle.com, download the app, create your team. There's lots of matches going on there. Select a match, and then you can, if you beat Dada, remember, you win 3 times. So that's a huge incentive. Remember, on the very first day, we showed you how young Tufan Ghosh won 1 crore of rupees by being very consistent. So you can do that as well. Now, there was a bit of rain around. What's the weather going to be like? There's just a day in between. We come back on Thursday, remember, for the start. Partly cloudy, so we're all right. This is courtesy of the Weather Channel, the world's most downloaded weather app. Chance of rain 23, 14, 10. We won't worry about that. So humidity is still pretty high, as it always is in that part of the world. So hopefully we'll get a full 50-over game there. So there you are, the T20 series. India win that 3-0, and now start favourites for the One Day International Series. We'll join you here on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live in association with the Weather Channel. Thank you very much today to Zaheer Khan, to Joy Bhattacharjya, who will, as usual, have the last word with the Joy Factor.
Thank you. And this was a question. It's actually pertinent to today, and that's why I asked it. A test in which Sidhu, Azhar and Tendulkar got centuries, also one which has a bowling first in Indian cricket, never achieved since. Just name the player achieving the bowling record. It was on this day, August 5th, that Nilesh Kulkarni took a wicket with his debut ball. And that was great.
Just stop the story there. Stop the story there.
After that, he went for 195 runs, and Sri Lanka piled on 952 for 6. But he remains the only Indian bowler to take a wicket with his first ball in Test cricket.
Yeah, Mavan Attapattu was the batsman. Rajesh Chauhan had one for 200 and something as well. Was it the
one
same
for
game?
195, one for 200. I think Nehra also played.
So one inning finished in that game, or no, in 5 days?
I think
India batted, got 576.
India declared, didn't they?
India declared.
Yeah. And then they made 952 and then just kept on batting and kept on batting.
Totally, there were about
900 runs.
1400 runs scored for the loss of about 12 wickets, roughly.
Wow, what a contest between bat and ball. But there you go. There you go. Nilesh Kulkarni got a wicket with his first ball. And if he had never bowled another ball in Test cricket, wow, we would have said, well done. Right, who's our winner then? We got quite a few coming in, and they came in quite quickly. So let's see who the first was. Crick Rohit wins it again. And I'm just passing it on, just change the slide. So at Crick Rohit, well done Rohit Yadav. Wish you many more. So come and join us, Crick Rohit, as well for the one days. Joy, come up with something a little more difficult.
I'll have to try.
Right, so there you are. Join us, as I said, on My 11 Circle presents Cricbuzz Live in association with the Weather Channel. We'll be with you for the 3 one days. So remember, those start an hour earlier, so we'll be with you 6:30 all those for a 7 o'clock start.